Now then, how are we all doing? So I've done quite a few videos now on some of this vintage stuff that I have down here. But I've not actually done a lot on the restoration where I actually carry out, like on this Massey Ferguson 65 that I'm doing. So I thought today, we'll do a video. So we've come into my spares department to get a few of my little bits for my 65 that's hidden away here. So we can get some paint on them. Now when I'm restoring a vehicle, I do try and keep it as close as I can to period correct parts. So I've got these side lights that I'm going to now strip back down, get them painted to the standard I'm wanting. Got all my little bits together. This is the thing with restoration, when you've got all your nice little bits ready, such as this, it makes the restoration so much easier. Then I've ordered a number plate this week, so we're about to get the number plate on from a local supplier, Jepson's. Morning, Father. So he's quickly just tack ragging it off. We've got a few more parts that need painting ready here now. So this has had some etch primer on it. It's had a little bit of filler on it, and then it's had a coat or 3 coats of fine finishing spray filler. When I finish painting, I'll unwrap the tractor, show you that, show you the mud guard, show you how I've had to extend it, make it longer, weld a bit in, because I'll show you that afterwards. This is my gun that I used, gravity fed one. Find it best for doing this sort of job. I do have a big gun with a big nozzle on. Excuse me. Painting the other, so we'll give this paint a quick mix up. We'll get some on. So I've got my first couple of coats on. It's I'm not very happy with it. I don't know what it is with painting. I never ever seem to get it right. I don't know if it's great. It's too cold, too warm, or what it is, but yeah. We'll give it another coat in a minute. I've done these little bits as well because I want to get the number plate sorted out. But yeah, it's just not quite to my standard yet. But is it?
You hope not.
Oh. So I finally got the wheels on and done. So the next process was to get the mud guards matched up. So the difference is with these mud guards is with this tractor's on 36-inch wheels, so everything stands a bit taller. So even your arms, well, your arms fasten on are different down here. There's a bracket, whereas normally they're fastened directly onto there. So it makes the mud guards extremely high, thus making them not long enough. So as you can see, it's a couple of inches short, so I've filled all the holes in, made it that little bit longer. This is how it looked. I filled in the holes with a MIG. It's quite difficult working with it actually, because it is quite thin, but never be scared to have a go. Had to extend them. This here I got some flat steel, wrapped it round a bolt to form it, to make a corner, and then just added these few extra inches on the bottom. So originally they wouldn't have these rivet holes here, but I kind of like them, if I'm honest, because it has got a kink in the mud guard, as it should. But that's the same as everything, it's reproduction, it's just not quite there. See these holes here, they're for the pod for the side light. When I drill them, I mark them all up perfectly, measured in between the 2 stays. When it come to bolt to the other one on the other side, they hadn't welded these on quite in the middle of the mud guard, so it was like 1/4 of an inch out further back. In fact, I might have a picture. I'll probably drop one in now. When it came to finding the tyres, it was quite difficult because they don't actually make these in Goodyears anymore. I think the 13.6s and the stem really tall and look really silly, so the profile of the wing doesn't quite match correctly. So next process for this, I'll get flattened back to make relatively smooth. As you can hear, there's a little bit of rust coming through and it's rough. So then we'll get some etch. So this is what we put on first. Self-etching primer. Hopefully might stop some rust, maybe. Then after that, get some of this primer filler. It's really quite good stuff, this. A bit like treacle. So when I'm putting this on, I use my old bigger gun, so the needle in this one is not very refined, which you don't need it to be for doing that. What I would say is get a half decent gun, because I am certainly no paint man, but it does make life a lot easier if you've got a decent gun. A lot easier. So I've got the mudguard off now. So the first part of the prep work I will, like I say, a bit forward, probably get rid of that roughness to start with. And then if there is any areas that perhaps need slight amounts of body filler, because these mudguards they're just thrown together, we'll put a little bit on. But the always thing is, you always take off more than you think. So when you're prepping, I've always found you go further than you think, and just use paint as a guide. So if we were to rub this down now, so to flatten this off, I'd use some 600, that way up. I work in a circular motion, and just take all the roughness off it to start with. Also, when you're doing this, if you do it lightly to start with, you take all the high bits off, then you can see all the real impurities. If it's dry, if you do it dry like this, then you can keep working at that area and get rid of these bits, such as that eventually. Originally these mudguards, when you have lighting kits on, they had like a special bracket here to hold the wire. So I've knocked some up. They're not as they should be, but they're not too bad. So you can see where it's burnt through on the paint. So that'll take no getting out, but you can see down the top of that mudguard now, instantly we're just rubbing that little bit off. You can feel all of the roughness in it. So that gives you a bit of an idea then where you need to be at. So when I'm rubbing body filler down, I go to about a 250 and then I light it up to 600. I never really go above 600. This is me personally, because I find that if you use 600, if I was to put that with fine body filler before top coat, I find that if you use 600, it doesn't show any of the scratches within the paint. Anything less than that, it does. Anything more than that, I think that it makes it too smooth and shiny, and then your paint doesn't stick quite as good. That's what I find. So if I've ever got any rusty patches, I do put this on. To be fair, on certain things, I do just paint this on thinly. Whether it's any good or not, I'm not sure. They used to do a really good product, an anti-rusting product, years and years ago, when we first started restoring tractors, and it was really good stuff. So this is it prepped and ready. A quick rub down with some wet and dry, and then ready for the top coat. Finished article. It's full of bits, shiny-ish. It'll do, I suppose. One thing I will say to you, don't be disheartened if you make a mess with your paint job, because I'm disheartened now with this mudguard because there's far too many bits in it for me. But yeah, don't be disheartened, because for me, you can try things once over, it works. Twice over, it doesn't. I'm going to put a few tasty little bits on now. It's taken me 5 years to find this type of reflector. Some have the single hole in them, single rib, but the other tracks that I've got, and everyone that I've ever seen, has always had these on. So I finally found a pair. That's number one. Right, we've got that built up. Get it put on. So this is just really an example to show you how it will look once this bit's done. And that's it on. So for those of you screaming, saying that you've put it on the wrong side, my plan is with this tractor, I'm going to put a ploughing light on both mudguards. This actual light will be on this side with the button, as correctly should be on this side, but the other light for this mudguard is down there on the floor. And as like I was just saying about paint jobs, I'll quickly explain to you why it's not on. So I painted this when I painted the others. If you look there, it's dull. It's not shiny, so that's why I've not built it up, so I'll paint that again. So this tractor was built in 1964. Now by 1964, there were quite a few reversible ploughs about. So if you've got a reversible plough, you need a light on both sides to shine each furrow. That's my thinking. Plus, why not? It's my tractor, I want two lights on it. As I was saying previously, with these big tyres, there's a few more differences. This was also introduced in 1964. They had a step on this side. So now we're just going to use my little bolts and get bolted up. Just have to hope you can see something. I'm not sure if it's working or not, this. Two things need to happen here. We need to cut those threads down and then get a P-clip on that wire, but then that wire feeds down into the mud guard and comes out the bottom. There we have it anyway. The bottom part's bolted on. We have 3 bolts. So it's best bit, isn't it, when you've got them finally bolted back together. Putting the shiners on. So that's about it. Not much more I can say. If you write in the comments, if there is anyone wanting any advice on painting, I'm not saying I can help you, but I will try and help you if I can, if possible. My little knowledge of painting. But yeah, just write a comment below and I'll get back to you when I can. Really need to start this tractor. I really need to get it running. It's just got to be started soon. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, hit the like button for me. If you like what we do with these little videos, hit the subscribe button. So yeah, that's all I've got to say. Alright people.